Share it on my WhatsApp pledges.
The world is changing. Cities are evolving. With adoption and deployment of digital technologies, cities are now more than brick and mortar. They are becoming innovatively functional and aspirational. Communities are becoming smart. Smart cities are the future.
The basic elements required in a smart city: two things: electricity, constant electricity, and high-speed internet.
In a smart city, the goal is to address growing urbanization challenges with a digital framework. The framework is an intelligent network of connected objects and machines that transmit data using wireless technology and the cloud.
A village with electricity and high-speed internet is already smart.
Smart cities can improve energy distribution, streamline trash collection, decrease traffic congestion, and even improve air quality with help from the Internet of Things.
The right leadership with the right vision, I think, can be able to deliver and change some of our cities to smart cities.
Programos Foundation is today a major advocate for the development of smart and connected communities and cities in Nigeria. The COVID-19 pandemic devastated the world, but it has also demonstrated just how much digital innovations are needed to serve the society. Innovations that make the people smarter, better connected, healthier, precipitating solutions that have a positive impact and relevant local content. Amos Emmanuel, chairman of Programos Foundation, constant refrain is that change does not happen on its own. It is influenced by people who innovate. He is always calling and urging innovators to rise and occupy leadership positions in every part of the world, particularly in Nigeria. He is a firm believer that the world innovation cannot be complete without leadership contribution from Africa and especially Nigeria. Programos Foundation Africa, tapping into the growing, the digital awareness, has taken up the challenge to help the continent progress. Programos Foundation was established in 2009 by Programos Software Limited, a long-standing leader in the capital market financial technology subsector that saw the need to fund activities, help realize the goal to deliver innovation-led ecosystem for Nigerians. Amos Emmanuel, Chairman, Chief Software Architect for Programos Software Group, is a prolific software designer and entrepreneur. He has served as ICT backbone to numerous financial institutions in Nigeria with over 25 years experience automating and maintaining more than 100 capital market operator organizations in Nigeria and Ghana with the multiple award-winning Cloud Integra. He is a UN World Summit Awards eminent national expert for Nigeria. Programos Foundation is engaged in significant work. It is helping Africa harness the power of technology. It is teaching Africa to innovate. The impressive and groundbreaking work that Programos Foundation has pioneered is particularly important in the light of the United Nations UN Decade of Action on the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The decade of action calls for accelerating sustainable solutions to all the world's biggest challenges, ranging from poverty and gender to climate change, inequality, and closing the finance gap. Technology promises to play a larger-than-life role in this quest. Programos Foundation, through its work, offers Africa a huge chance and gives her a massive advantage. Programos Foundation may well be Africa's linchpin. Two important segments of Programos Foundation's multi-pronged approach include the Innovation Bed Africa and Smart City Project. Innovation Bed Africa is playing a strategic role in identifying and promoting indigenous solutions. Since it emerged on the scene, Innovation Bed has made steady progress. Today, it is a go-to organic platform for startups incubation and multiplication. Without a doubt, Innovation Bed SDGs framework offers Africans a community-based collaborative hub in the areas of mentorship, innovation capacity, development, and entrepreneurship. Indeed, the emergence of an entrepreneurial bespoke IT ecosystem is perhaps the best way to precipitate the growth of the ICT sector with the development of relevant and functional solutions. The way Innovation Bed works is to constantly explore the relationship between technology and broader social issues. Everywhere Africa appears to be behind, Innovation Bed has become a bridge builder, an aggregator, and facilitator.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all. Right. Thanks. While in 2 minutes, I'm sure from now others will be joining us, and I'll seize this opportunity to welcome every one of you. My name remains Amos Emmanuel, and I work for Programos Software, and I'm very grateful that we've come this far. We started last week, and it's been back-to-back different units of capital markets organizations. And all we try to do is not just dropping new things, but we're actually rewriting the culture of capital market processes, capital market operation, and the entire tradition of capital markets. For some of us that have been here for almost 3 decades, we can agree with me that it's no longer the same thing. You know, the terrain has changed, quite a lot has changed, and we are also trying to see how we align ourselves with the changes of the global economy, so to speak. In the house today, I'm particularly very grateful and happy for my dear old friend, brother, and old client. And some of us have done this journey, like we said, more than 2 decades before now. And I'm particularly very happy to welcome Mr. Chidi Ajegbo, the former president of ICANN and the current chairman at Heritage Capital. And today he will just share with us a few words, from his angle that I know many of you are familiar with, some words of wisdom and what we think can help each and every one of us. And I will now actually invite Mr. Chidi Ajegbo, former President ICANN, to share with us some lessons for some of us to learn from. Thank you so very much. And good morning, sir. Let me know if you have any. Okay, can I confirm if I think I cited his I cited him much earlier. Right, just give me a moment to interact to confirm this. And just like I dropped there, please, you can actually share your details, your who you are, what firm. Let's know who you are in the chat box. Thank you. All right, so I think it's just gaining access back to join us. So you're welcome, sir. Yeah, you're welcome, Mr. Chidi. Thank you so very much, sir. And you can unmute yourself. Let's get to meet you.
Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chidi Ajewu. I'm primarily an accountant and a stockbroker too. So I'm happy to be here.
So thank you so very much, sir, there for your words. And I'm sure by virtue of the fact that we all have other accounting professionals in here, we just want to hear one or two lessons you can help with the market, particularly like I've mentioned when I started, that the capital market has actually evolved. It's gone through quite a whole lot. And today we can still see that we're not just changing we're not just changing the product, we're not just a brand, but it's almost like a total culture that we are renewing here. And you've been there all along. You know, you've always been there all along. We learned from what you were doing manually, and look at the digital world. And besides, the global advancements in artificial intelligence is almost changing the paradigm. And so just the little what you think we can still do to survive at this time, sir. Thank you. Just about a few minutes. I'll be good. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. And like I said, I feel greatly honored to be here today. And I want to share a couple of experience, a couple of things that I've seen all through the last 30 years in the capital markets, especially from the reporting perspective. I'm going to be talking here today as an accountant. I haven't been the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants between 2014 and 2015. I'm still practicing a bit of accounting, even though I'm to stop broking capital market operations 100%. Still do some teaching of some students in audit, financial reporting, and financial management. So let me start by saying that I don't want to overemphasize the need for timely closure of year-end books. Year-end closing is essentially the conclusion of reporting cycle and the foundation for the next cycle. So therefore, you will agree with me that it presents a structured process of finalizing records and measuring performance at the end of every accounting period or year. Of course, I don't want to take you through what it takes to for disclosures to be done, because I know I'm speaking to a lot of very senior colleagues here. But the key ones, you know, in order to confirm the integrity of the figures you have in your both unaudited and audited financial statements, the reconciliation of all your bank accounts, that gives you the level of confidence that you need, that is required for you to proceed to the level of preparing comprehensive income statement and statement of financial balances. The adjustments of entries, of course, we call it journals, are very key to correct errors and also bring in some notional items like provisioning for depreciation, some fixed assets. You also need to make provisions for maybe your estimated tax, where you have sinking funds, where you're deferring reserves for a replacement target down the line in future. You need to make those provisions. So that is generally done through the use of adjustments and journals. It's also important that once you start this financial close at the end of your accounting period, it is generally advisable that you also carry your external auditors along. The reason for that is that it helps to fast track their understanding of what you've done and therefore will reduce the time spent in certifying your financial statements. Of course, you need to look at the various measurements, the cutoff dates, and look at accruals, prepayments, depreciations, impairment, testing, tax provisions, and then, of course, come to your trial balance before you now go into your asset verification, inventory valuations, regulatory reporting requirements and schedules of those requirements, among others. So you would agree with me that it is imperative for any effective finance department to ensure that their financial close is carried out as quickly as possible. Let me also say that I'm very highly impressed with the new trend in the market today, where when you have most companies having their year ends as 31st December, and by the middle of January, middle of February, you have an avalanche of audited financial statements being rendered to the exchange. That's, is a clear indication that they were prepared to meet a timely reporting schedule. And again, that takes me back to how are they able to do this? It's a very simple thing. You have what they call continuous audit. Some people call it interim audit. You don't have to wait for the year to end before you bring in your auditors. You can actually bring in your auditors during the accounting year. They can look at your quarterly reports. They can actually audit your quarterly reports and maybe your half-yearly report. When they do that, that reduces the volume of work that will be done at the end of the year, and therefore it helps to fast-track the rendition of this year-end accounts as and when the year ends. The other side of it is that if you have delays in closing accounts, you create operational uncertainties. You weaken internal controls. You increase compliance risk. You damage institutional reputation. In essence, early closure of accounts help to enhance confidence, strengthen governance, reduces audit pressure, and aids with clarity, creates the necessary clarity in decision making. Then, of course, once you do your financial close at the end of the year, it helps you to have your opening balances for the next accounting period. Your management accounting, monthly management accounting report is also aided because you're now working with certified figures that you don't have to worry about because they've been audited and they've been closed. So your opening balances are actually the live opening balances. That helps you to prepare a more believable, a more information, a more reliable management account for the months of January, February down the line. So I don't want to overemphasize the need for very quick financial close because the ramifications of not closing, the impact, the implications of not closing your account as and when you are quite very profound. And any finance department that is unable to close the account as and when is required, basically, I think if you've done the right things and put the right things in place, 30 days after your year end, you should be able to report on your figures. So in today's business environment where speed, transparency, and credibility are very essential, in good and ethical business practices. There is a need for organizations, professionals to take very seriously early closures of account as strategic indication and determinant of regulatory compliance. Investors' confidence actually gets elevated when you're able to close your financials early enough. The audit quality is higher, is enhanced, and operational efficiency, like I said, you're able to measure your performance from day one of the new accounting period through the preparation of your management account that is predicated on an audited closing and opening balance. So it is very critical. The risk exposure and tax compliance and corporate strategic strengths, among others, are enhanced. So the value, the benefit of actually closing your books immediately your year-end is crossed is the same valuable. From the CFO's perspective, that is so critical that there's nothing else that is more important than making sure that you put your people to work, you ask them to work and get the financial close as quickly as you can. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to say that it needs not to be emphasized that the primary responsibility of a CFO is to ensure the timely closure of their financial data. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share a few of my insights with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so very much. And in fact, it's far, more than what I was actually expecting, because I know you rarely have much time, but then thank God for the internet. I can bring anybody. And that's why this is digitally possible, sir. Thank you so very much once again. And that was a very strong message and a very strong lesson to all of us. And I must say that kudos to all the firms who, even as at this moment, they have had their year end of 2025 closed. And just like we've had right now, for the outstanding companies, as soon as that can be possible, please don't let us make that a nightmare, because it's actually not very fashionable when we give people 90 days, 60 days, and we still have to even get to do what we do, end of year extensions. And once that begins to happen, that means it's rather not a very encouraging culture, because a system that has not closed itself last year and early enough in the new financial year, you agree with me that you really don't have that time to pay attention to the requirements and needs of the current financial year, which already picked up a month or more than a month ago and things like that. So kudos to those who have, even here, firms have closed their financial year for 2025. But then that can't just happen overnight. That means that we were steady. That means that you were steadfast and you were on top of your positions and figures as timely as you deem fit for your management. And that's just not something you just get overnight. I've had an implementation experience somewhere where I could remember a couple of years back, I brought a bank and a non-bank subsidiary.
Amos, you're an orator. Can I go now?
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. And I'm sure everybody here says thanks. Everybody here says thank you so very much. I appreciate it, sir.
Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. So I must say that this experience last time was that we were to actually bring two firms together, a bank-owned subsidiary of stockbroking and an outstanding stockbroking firm, names withheld. And you realize that in consolidating and bringing these two firms together, the bankers had accounts up to date. The other non-banking subsidiary were never having accounts up to date. And you realize that as a bank, you are a subsidiary of a major institution. So that means that your division has to make its books available to the global institution as much as possible, so that at any point, the organization is able to see its entire bottom line in totality. Not just that, oh, the rest of the companies have closed their books, but that's little. Subsidiary is yet to release its own figures because for some reason, operational gaps have not made that to be possible. So I thank you and I thank him very much. And we'll just get down to the business of the day. So I'll just commence my my session with you today. And please, if you can see my screen, let me know. If you can see my screen. Can somebody help?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. So at this rate is that, like we mentioned, we are actually not changing what you do. We are not changing the business, but quite so much have had cost to us to impact on what we are doing. When last week we commenced with the system administrators, and one other rare operation that is sometimes very abstract to most of us in our organizations is that having to engage the internal control and risk management environment, so that we really need them to understand better that what you do on an application or a software is that an application is task-based. So if a task is being done by the operations people, the accounts people, and different departments of the organization, there is need for the compliance person to be in the picture and be able to put up a template of measurement of certain metrics of things that could be positive for the organization as well as things that could be negative, of course, in the same vein. So this was actually the basis and the need for that. And we will actually still see where these templates and culture will get to later, transform into what you do on a daily basis. So for today, the business of general ledger, it still remains what you do. We are not changing accounting for whatever reason. And what we just earning or what we're trying to achieve today is that some of those processes had costs. We had reason why some of those processes have to be done in a different developmental platform. You know, we had to now begin to say we are changing. Why are we changing the application? Why are we rewriting some of those things? You know, several reasons involved. Even in development, in our development profession, we realize that certain tools that we have used to write application many years ago are either no longer being available or no longer supported, that there is now that urgent need for us to now imbibe newer development tools, you know, and in the course of imbibing or using newer development tools, we are actually going to, of course, take advantage of leveraging some of the new opportunities. And that is the reason why we are having this new version. So you may want to think, is our way of posting deposit changing? Is our way of doing this changing? Are we authorizing? Are we not doing this? All those things sincerely are not going to change much, but the culture is just being renewed, and that is the basis of what is driving what is happening here. You know, so in a nutshell, the accounts module will remain that you have your chart of accounts, and if I click on chart of accounts, your chart of accounts should now be able to let you manage your fresh account creations. Don't forget, Integra is no longer something that is just a Nigerian thing. It's being used in several other parts of the world. So we are lessons that we're also getting. So in terms of its transformation, for it to have come this far and what is going, what we currently have is also based on the fact that some lessons that we have gotten from some of our exposures and service orientation has also helped in the course of what we do. So in this area, you are very visually more able to read your data, see your accounting heads in a much more visual manner, that I can now pick on any to correct either a name, but of course, to delete. Of course, you need to know that deletion may not be possible, but then if it's an account that does not have any value before or a transaction before, that may still be permissible and all that. But then the way you manage your chart of account going forward, for some of us, who know what to do in creating accounts. This is just a safest place to do your account creation. Just like you also have, okay, currency setup was never something that essential or important. But today, because of, like we say, several other institutions from within and outside use this application, there are needs for certain levels of currency provision for what they do and the likes. So, and that is why a whole lot has happened in that area, that we also make sure that those availabilities also get them and to achieve what they want. So the main essence today is for me to share with you that when your application is changing, please, you still will have your architecture in terms of operational units, what you were having. Is those things still there? Nothing is taken away. What we have to take away is because there is no more required. And that's about the only thing. So where you go to do your operation is still in those places. It's actually still in those places. So we will give you that overview, which is what we are running now, to let you know that your GL admin still remains as important as the GL admin. Your GL admin is not a delegatable model. The head of FinCon does not delegate the GL admin to a less superior officer, because the GL admin, totally everything underneath, is actually the head of accounts. You are responsible for dictating, or so rather, for saying what may have impacted your financials. So at no point would you say you are not involved. So anything that happens under GL admin is to give the finality to every program or any process or any transaction line and so on and so forth. So that tradition is still retained. Then you have your GL authorization. Your GL authorization is still intact. You understand? You still have to verify things, sort them out, verify before you now authorize, and things will now go into your final account, trial balance, your balance sheet, and profit and loss, as the case may be. And those periods are still, of course, this is not determined by any other thing than your business, so it's actually determined by the business. Then several other things, of course, authorizing and undoing authorization. Let me just explain that in a bit for perhaps anybody that may be new. Why are you authorizing things? You are authorizing because postings by anybody from any department automatically is suspended in what we call the held journal file. Now, when things are in the held journal file, they do not immediately impact your trial balance. They do not immediately impact your profit and loss. They do not also impact your balance sheet. It's only when authorization is being done, which is like a final validation of what has happened, that the FinCon says, okay, fine, I've viewed the journals for the day, for the week, for the month. I want to push them into the GL. So when things are pushed into the GL, it's a confirmation that everything is just valid and they can go there, and they will now transform your cumulative positions of your balance sheet, your P&L, and your trial balance. At that point, when you have succeeded in doing so for a particular period, it means that your held journal file will become empty. And they will now shift from the held journal file into what we call the posted journal file. Now that means that only things in posted journal file, all these are reports on your GL reports. So things in the posted journal file are the things that affect your trial balance, that will affect your balance sheet, that will affect your profit and loss. So this understanding is very, very key, that you do this authorization or validation as regularly as you are done reconciling periods. Okay. Now, like we said the last time, some people have closed financial year for 2025. How have they fared? How were they able to do so? What that simply means is that they were on top of the entire accounts, validated that everything was okay as of December 31st, and there's practically no other thing that is supposed to go to last year. And even if at all you have an observation of a new thing this year, the head of FinCon should have his word as to what should happen to it, but not necessarily that you'll be needing to go back to a past closed period to open for whatever reason. And this is what accounting is actually also all about. Okay, Several other items in there, like we said, they are still there. Like your end of year, for instance, the end of year is actually something or place where people should just joyfully go there and do a closure. And if you want to go do a closure and you have had record of past closures, the system will be able to give you now an opportunity to see what your profitability has been in the past years to date, and so on and so forth. So that is what you do under GL, under end of year. And end of year will not take you more than perhaps 60 seconds, maybe at most 120. But then at this point, you can only come to do end of year closure when all is well. You cannot do end of year closure when you are still having teething things, balances to attend to, unauthorized issues, my trial balance has not agreed, and things like that. We are not actually ready. Because once you come here, this is the point when if you have a bottle of wine, this is what you should be taking at this point, especially when we are being positive for the month or for the year and things like that. And besides, it's something to wrap up what you have done throughout the whole year. Then on the other part of the GL, you still have what we call the client's financials. And please take note, the client financials is that place where you post all customer deposits, dividend warrants, which is not very common anymore, credit notes, you do your inter-account transfer. We've not taken out any of those things. All those processes are still intact. So that's why we say when we are changing, what we just need to show you is the overview of where things are, and they are not too far away. We maintain that tradition, we maintain that culture, but in a renewed environment, kind of. Now, then you have the debit note is also there. The withdrawal is also there. And even for the withdrawal, for instance, the check for, does he have money? Does he not have money? All those things are also still in place, So when we are posting and all those traditions of searching for an account, the amount, the transaction dates, now what mode of payments or withdrawal are we making? So we've not lost any of that. So your GL, because when I'm paying somebody, I need to be able to know what bank I'm paying from, what cash account I'm paying from. So once all that is done, that tradition is still very maintained. And something very recently, if we remember about what we call the duplicate entry granting, for you to post a particular entry of the same amount, that same figure, so that process is still intact. So we want it to happen because ordinarily, the system will not want to take it because the system will feel it's actually in error. I posted ₦1 million to Amos's account this morning. In the afternoon, I want to post another 1 million to Amos's account. The system is likely to want to prompt me that might likely be in error. But then if I tell the system, please, this second 1 million or third 1 million is coming on purpose, I want it so, then we need to check the duplicate entry granting. And by the time you submit, you will never be cautioned. You will never be stopped. I don't know whether this, as anybody I've seen these cases before. I can see it's very common in place. And recently, we got to know that even in doing this kind of a thing under debit note, maybe that was not tracked. But as we say, if you have any observation, then it's more easier for us to attend to the application and address it from this point going forward. But it's not very easy for us to have gone backwards to be working on the old version, because between now and when you begin implementation from this month, next month, by the end of March, we may not have had proper support for any older version, because that is what should rule. Now, the GL operation, describing it, the GL operation specifically, if I missed it out the other time, is actually meant for account officers. And please, you are familiar with journal entry. We are familiar with journal entry, all those. So many of these things have been replaced by just one program. So when you will now see at the point of formation that they will leave the scene, don't be surprised, because where you have multiple journal entry here, this program alone will take care of all GL receipts. This program will take care of the GL receipts, like here. So you can actually stay here and do your journal entry, do your GL receipts, do your GL payment voucher. So because it's all in one, several lines in that place will go. Before now, when we started, this was almost creating some hiccup in some places, but we had to just leave it until when this time comes. So when this is up, those additional lines that will be causing some additional confusion will go, because in here, your audit trail is better managed and a lot more are also intact in what is coming through what we have just done here. So in a way, GL receipts are those, if I may just explain, because journal entry is journal entry. Journal entry is just when you are posting one debit to one account and debit crediting the other. No documents attached. But a GL receipt is actually when, like for instance, your firm offers a financial service to someone or an institution. For receiving the revenue you were paid for that service, you need to issue what is called a corporate receipt. Take note, somebody is paying your stockbroking firm, but not this payment or deposit. This money is not deposit. It's not that it's deposited in a stockbroking account. It's on the surface. So we call this GL receipt because it's going to do a corporate receipt, which you can extend to whoever has paid you monies. Same way, you are paying someone for the purpose of maybe office expenditure and so on, and there must be evidence that somebody actually was paid, and a GL payment voucher is also produced. So there are documents attached to them which you can print, whether the GL receipt or GLPV. So they are document-based. That tradition is not today, it's more than 2 decades. So we still maintain that, okay? Now, the GLPV or GL operation has just about 2 main areas of program, because we have collapsed all this activity into this form, and that will be the form you have eventually. Then this one here, let me see the journal. There's actually one that is to do with entry corrections. Yeah. The ones that, okay, sorry, I don't think this is it. The one that has to do with entry corrections. Sorry, my code is being run from the source, so please, you can be prompted from time to time with some prompts as it is now. I'm trying to identify, but there's actually one other one that is strictly for reversals. That is going to be different from edit journal or what have you, because all these ones we're going to leave the same. But your client financial, everything is still maintained. You can do your deposit, your dividend warrant deposit, your credit note, your inter-account transfer. Now your inter-account transfer is also still maintained, that you can transfer from one stockbroking account to another. And if you can remember, this can happen between equity account to equity account transfer. It can also happen between equity and NESD account, or NESD to equity. So depending on what type is when you can now come here and do your search. Is when you can now come here. So there's always in the account transfer, there will be a source account, and there will always be a destination account. So it's the same graphical thing that we have implemented, that the source account, the destination, just like we have graphically shown them up there, once you pick, the balance on the account will show. And please take note, you cannot transfer what is not available in someone's account. I don't know whether some of us are familiar with this. Unless you have a credit limit established in the account, and that's a different thing altogether. And that is why I must tell one accountant, if a balance does not have an amount, and there is need for you to pay more than the balance in the amount, then there's a risk somewhere. All we need from this end is who is the face behind the risk. So somebody has to be somebody has to have that risk, have to be shown for who is taking that risk, so that we know that that was obviously a risk taken, and that is just all that is required. That is where we now expect that you don't even do it from your accounts module, an administrator is involved, and that credit limit has to be established. As soon as the credit limit is established, the final balance in the person's account here will be available for you to pay. So it won't just be by way of verbal, no. The electronic documentation of the credit limit in the admin is what is going to approve that you pay on the system. I just feel we need to just establish that. And we also have the NESD client financial class. That is also still in place. It's just similar. When we say the client financials, we are talking about equity class business. Then the NESD is of NESD class business, and they are just very related because the accounts here are opened differently and they do not operate like equity. So that is why their client financials is also separated. And your GL reports, please, your GL report also still remains that you can actually report extensively from what you currently have. And be it all the reports you have, well, they didn't just start today. Yeah, they actually just start today. If we have reclassifications and what have you, it's all because it's still riding on the information that we're fetching and generating over a period of time. And there are many of such reports. So if you have any concerns with anyone, please, on support line, we are here to always attend to any report, and that is the main thing. So particularly as we speak of the GL reports, one assignment that I actually currently have is that sometimes you may not particularly know when to use some of these reports. Like when we started, I spoke about held journal, which is this, for instance. Now, this held journal is something very homely and important that, please, if you are looking for anything in the trial balance, you can't find it, please confirm that for that period, your held journal file is empty. Because if it has not left there, please, it will not change your trial balance. And that is why some people will say, I have 1,250,000 on the trial balance when it was supposed to be 1,500,000, or that is 1.5 million. Whereas the 200,000 expected to have topped what you have in your trial balance is still waiting for validation in the held journal file. So this can be the gap. But please, if you go to your account activity will show you all the items and even total it up to the 1.5. But please take note, the account activity will tell you a line that is not validated or authorized as no, and everyone authorized will carry yes, yes, yes. So that's just the difference. And that will give you the idea that something is amiss that you have not done to that area. And the reason why I actually still say in this session that particularly for accounts, because most of the job has been done, particularly, look at it, you are a stockbroking firm, the bulk of what should come to you as a concern is your capital market processes. And that is why I'm actually calling for a mixed class this week. Again, I'll confirm that in a mail as soon as we are done this session, because obviously, in the course of what I've done here, 1 hour may obviously not be enough. So your session will need to interface with the operations people that give you the biggest of the issues on a daily basis. And that is the mixed session I'll be holding. I'll be announcing that as soon as we're done with this last part now. Now, you need to know what exactly comes to you from the operations department. And let's don't forget, accounts department is supposed to be the goalkeeping department that should say whether there's a problem for a particular day or not. The operations people hardly know. They will hardly know it. You know why? Things will just come in to settle. and process. Their concern is, oh, they have customers, they have XY orders, they've been executed, and they may not even know whether all the orders are fully executed. But guess what? Because at the end of the day, there's something you get, which is called the settlement report from the exchange. And this is where the next session of the mix session, I need to bring this together between you and the operations so that you can actually know what really happens and how this account can be immediately tamed and managed on a daily basis in such a manner that your trading bank, please take note, how would you want to close your financial when your trading bank, there's an account we call the suspense account, which is the cloud integral operations account. How would you want to close your trading bank account with a balance in it when that account is supposed to be nilled every day? And please, before I wrap up, these are actually the areas I want us to interact, and I want to share one or two, and I would like some of you to also share what you do in this regard, because this has remained the biggest of the issues that we face. And that's just because people feel because of automation, man don't have work to do again. No, 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 no. You are still the goalkeeper, and you are to say whether something has gone wrong or not. What the system is to do is to aid you, and this is the strategy. We will show you 1, 2, 3, 4 additional things that we have done to help and aid you to do your bit and work in the operations unit. Because the nightmare you will have is having a billion figure in an account that's supposed to be nil. How do you want to write that? How do you want to? There's actually tradition unmaintained. There's a culture unmanaged. And these are the threats in the present time. And don't forget, your market is not fast yet. When you get to see the speed that is still coming up, you will actually know that if you're not on top of it, you'll be far from being comfortable in managing the account as timely as is desired today. And these are the concerns. Now, I want to also raise the idea of mark-to-market. The idea of mark-to-market is not something today. It's always been there, but you will agree with me that mark-to-market processes are things that are, how do I put it? They are things that are expected to be done on a at least quarterly basis. But please, you cannot do mark-to-market unless you're on top of your game. On top of your game, because this will affect your in-house proprietary trading accounts. The operations and the accounts sometimes are not much in sync. As such, mark-to-market, they will probably feel, oh, it's just an affair of the accounts department. No, it's a joint affair. And this is actually what comes up in the mixed class. The mark-to-market is a mixed concern, because if your position is all correct, whatever you are getting in mark-to-market position would also be erroneous. It will also be erroneous. This will actually also give rise and have impact in your capital gain determinations, capital gain or loss determinations. So these are the main crisis area where accounts department and the operations, there's actually something not bringing that together. And that might just be because we are not seeing what actually brings us together. And that is the graphical part of what I think my mixed class will be able to deal with. Because in an hour of this discussion, it's just an overview where things are, what you can possibly do, and the likes. And that's what I've just shared here. And is there any other thing? I know there was something additionally there that I may not see on the screen here. There's something additionally that I actually also have here that I know is added. It may not be on my test environment. We call that bulk processing. There's a bulk processing item that also will be in the accounts expectedly, because I have that in some test areas. That bulk processing is like people who want to just apply maybe an annual service charge to all customers. And the system will ask you questions. What this rate we are trying to apply, maybe 1,000 naira, maybe 500 naira, but it's usually done towards the end of year, like a handling thing. I'm sure some of us here are familiar with that thing. So the system has the capability of taking your instructions and to raise an iterated process that will raise the credits across all the customers that qualify based on the condition you give. Condition could be those who have debit balances only. Condition could be those who don't, maybe no condition. It should just be everybody. And you should just raise a general file. And that file, please take note, the file being raised is what will now go to the customer's account, and you can confirm if that fits what you want. I think at this point, I want to take one or two questions, particularly in two areas. Mark to market. Second, capital gain determination, and maybe end of year process. And of course, the integral suspense account. I don't know who can, if it is actually your specialty, if it is your specialty, please, you can just speak to any of these points, please. Please, I won't be able to see you unless, I close something. Okay, I won't be able to see unless I close that. I have 4 points here. Let me start with the integral suspense account. Please don't let me call you. If you have a word or something to share under the integral suspense account, that integral suspense account happen to be the account that tells you by the end of close of business, 2:30, market has closed. 3 o'clock, I'm wondering what else that you are doing. I don't know what else, except to plan for the next day. That's the market today. Except if the market is to extend to 5 p.m. That's about, I want to see people still shifting their suits on their chairs. Stop broken. Remember, 10 o'clock, people are still shifting their suits. And don't know what some of us here understand, and we're in that era. 10 o'clock, they're still doing something. Now we are getting orders, we are planning more mandates for the next day and things like that. But the market is no longer so. 2:30 market has closed. The strategy for today should be tidied up, and the accounts should just balance out, and we should just know what to do right away from there. So please, let me just speak to who has a balance in his suspense, because 1 kobo is in that account means that at least one customer has a problem of 1 kobo. May I know if I have Mrs. Adebite in the house? Please share your thoughts, madam. May I have Mrs. Adebite's attention? Okay. Mrs. Adebite, any other topic? What would you wish? Oh, sorry, is she even on the call? I have my reason why I called that name. Because that first time we had VAT mix-ups in terms of whether or is it stamp duty or SMS alert and what have you. Because of her attention, she was able to nip that error that came from the market readily and all that. Okay, but then, is there, do I have Mr. Roberts? Yeah, Mr. Roberts. Oh, sorry, please. Mr. Robert, please. 1 minute, please. Mr. Sonny, I'll come to you. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Robert in the house? Okay. Who do I have again? Mr. Sonny, your hands up, please. Mr. Sonny, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please, I just want to make some find out some issues concerning this suspense account.
Sorry, please. Are you answering my question? There's actually something on the picture, and you are even an administrator, so that you don't engage my class. An administrator shouldn't engage my class, please. Please, I'll come to to that, please. I
Okay.
need something about this account, integral suspense account management. And I called on Mr. Robert Odediro, if you're on the call, and any other one that can speak to this, please. Any other one? Let's learn from you.
Hello, sir.
Who else? Who else? Who else? Let me take Kehinde Balogun. Yes, one other person. No, Mr. Kehinde Balogun, are you on the call? Hello. Okay, Madam, Mrs. Adibite.
They call your name.
Mrs. Adibite, are you on the call now?
You are calling for me. Okay. Let me Kehinde Balogun talk.
Kayode, sorry, that's
Okay, I think I'm
Kehinde
Kehinde
Balogun. Kehinde Balogun. Or any other one, any other person?
Kehinde.
Okay, there is. Okay, yeah, I can see two. I can see there's a Kayode. That's right. That's right. All right, but please, generally now thrown out. Do I have Mr. Martins? Kolawole. Mr.
What the names
Martins.
you are calling, they are not available.
Okay. Let me look at the register. Okay, I'll just call the names. Let me call from the houses. Let me call from Shalom. Please, Shalom. Shalom. Do I have Tolu? Do I have Mr. Tolu in the house? Imperial? Okay. Standard Union? Accounts, Standard Union. Is Mr. Raphael in? Let me speak with Mr. Akman. Mr. Akman, we need to share because it's not a one way. The feedback is important for me too. Mr. Akman, are you there? Particularly, that's a mission. Mr. Akman, are you there? That's Mr. Akman, mission. Are you there? Okay, I needed to hear from Shalom. Anyone there? And who else? Do we have Williams, MBC? You see why certificate, I won't give certificate until you are done implementing. You won't be by my participation.
Hello.
Yeah, please,
Hello.
somebody's voice.
Hello.
Yeah, please, yeah, Mr. Ola Shebikon Williams, MBC Securities here. Mr. Williams, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, my question, or rather, where we needed to get feedbacks from is in the area of trying to balance out the trading. Look, I said that we're going to call for operations and accounts, but then today, I want to just know what are people doing? How do you reduce or nullify your integral operations suspense account on a daily basis? If you do it, what do you do? I've called Mr. Robert. I'm just seeing your face now. What do you do? Oh, please just share that so I can just speak on Mrs. Alaba. How do you close your day? How do you make sure that day is zero? What do you do?
Okay. For what you said, this is what we did online. When we look at the um market identity and there's no any error trade or any posted of customers' funds.
No, how do you
And
even determine error trade? A trade error would even come in. The fact that you have traded, you get your net settlement from CSCS, and this would include the error trade. So the error trade is still not identifiable at this point. But the issue is that we have an integral operations account that must be zero every day. The question is, what has been the tradition? What do you do? How have you been able to nail one day, the next day, or now when you now have a particular day that does not agree, what do you do? We want to share that with people, please.
Okay. This is all I do at my end here.
Yes.
I run all the client transaction manually to see where particularly error is coming from, because if the system is not able to balance the GA, then I'll go back again and look at what date, at what time, at what particular date that there's an error. Error must be somewhere. There's an error somewhere. They have to go back and look at it manually, one by one. So once I'm able to identify a particular client that has an error, then I do manual posting and net it off.
Okay. Let me just take. Thank you very much for that contribution. Let me take Madam Alaba. Mr. Bilusi, sir, Madam.
Good morning, Mr. Amos.
Morning, Madam. How are you? Good morning.
Fine, thank you. The aspect I'm even looking at the time we were discussing it, I was really not fully in. The idea of that duplication, because I knew since last week we were still not able to duplicate again. What is the duplicate transaction? In those days, then we click and you start posting. Excellent. But now even when you click, it doesn't take it again. What is the issue?
It was because of the version. I think we replied you. It was actually because of the version. At that time, we have started that process of this upgrade. But at the point, we needed to suspend it now, face this S-Cloud transfer from S-Cloud to servers, and now we are planning the upgrade to where we are going now. And that was what happened. Are you already using the upgrade that was tampered with, and that stopped? Yes, I'm now getting Miss Madeli's call. Thanks.
So we should hold on now.
Well. Sure, you'll be back to that. We'll give you that permission. That's why we told them to let us know which date so that we can help them correct physically. But you'll be able to continue with that soon.
No, we walk around it when it happens to us.
Yes.
We just took permission from Mr. Sam.
Excellent.
So that instead of saying 500, we put it together and post 1,500. Then we need permission.
He discussed that with me. Yeah, he discussed that with me, which is good. Thank you so very much. Madam Adibite, Mrs. Adibite, your hand. And sorry, I'm surprised when accountants are the ones being found on trading terminals, looking at the markets. Okay, Mr. Adibite, please go ahead, your floor. I wanted to just know how do you manage on a daily basis do I say Herculean integral operation suspense account on a daily basis? How do you manage it? Do you know that if you can't even make success, you cannot have closed your financial year? And I know you are one of the firms that have closed your financial year. How was it possible? Because you shouldn't leave any remnant. There shouldn't be any remnant in that account.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir. I will appreciate you for this opportunity, and what you have done so far, I think is good enough. At least I've tried to join other training apart from the one for accounts.
Yes,
but normally, what we normally do, what I do from my hand every day is that I get my daily trade printout. I also get my advice from CSCS. Then I come back to my in-house. There is a place at that bond equity that you can get a net trade listing for. That one will show you all the activity for the day. So what you need to do is that you compare that one with your GL, the one for your trading account. So you take all these together, you look at it one after the other, you take it, okay, you take buy first, you look at buy, look at it, everything, make sure that everything is okay. Because at the end of the day, you must come to the nil of zero. at that journal account at that GL account for your trading, whichever one you are using. Then most especially when there is issue, you need to look for where that error is coming from. And because if you don't deal with that issue for that day, it will accumulate the other day. And it will not even allow you to move further the following day. So it's better you deal with it at its come that day. You just know that there is an issue. Like, let me give you an instance of what happened to me here. Just this Friday, I tried to look at the trade. And it was at the weekend when I was at home. I was trying to look at it, that what happened on Friday. But one of the issues that we normally face every day is that when an account has not been created, an in-house account has not been created, that client has an CSCS account.
I saw your mail with respect to that, yes.
So, I saw your mail. So, when I was at home, I was like, oh, the trade does not balance. I'm having about 300 and something figure, and I need to nail that account. And I know there is a problem somewhere. Yes. So I have to now go through my trade listing, go through my in-house, that trade net ledger. That's where you will know what happened. And the one that is not there, you will note it immediately when you look at that one, you will see where the error is coming from. Now, I was able to see that there was a client that an in-house account has not been created for. Yes. And that client has an CSCS account. When I was calling some of my colleagues, they were telling me that it's a member transfer. And even if it's an inter-member transfer account, that in-house account needs to be updated.
That's right.
You need to create it. Because the broker just go to the floor. That one just went ahead, step for the person. And that's how I was having the difference. It takes me a long time, but it doesn't matter. But it's just that you must know that there must be a nil account at the end of the day. So if you are carrying any balances forward, it won't allow you to go further.
And that's
so it's better you take care of it day by day.
Thank you so very much, madam, for that contribution. And the last is that, please, what is that strength? What do you think, apart from the integral suspense that has to be nil? Like we said, if you have 1 kobo difference in that account, it means at least one of your customers is suffering from that 1 kobo. That's what it simply means.
Yes.
And that's why we see the accountant as the goalkeeper of the firm. The operations people, sincerely, they won't know. It's very easy. They are trading that process by OMS, or they've done it manually. Their own is that they've processed and they've gone. But the goalpost gets to you that difference must just come out. And that's where we need to see it. And how are you able to perfect end of year closure in the first month of the new financial year, madam?
If you go through that, your activity daily, if you do it daily, if you don't look at it that you must wait till end of the month or end of the week, if you do it daily and you make sure that there is no issue, your bank reconciliation, everything is all right, then you have no issue. Because normally what I do here is that it takes my time, but I don't mind, because it takes it takes problems out of your way. Because because I look at my cash book and my bank account, I make sure that my reconciliation is on weekly basis.
Yes.
I look at it and I make sure that whatever that's supposed to be in my cash book is there. Whatever that's supposed not to be there, I look at it and I make sure that everything is intact. Because if you are not doing it that way, you won't have the privilege to do the closure because when you come to January like this, there is no way you need to do closure, except you don't want to do other things and you don't want to present your management account to your management. Right. So that's just it.
So if you
do it that way every day.
Because I'm also learning there, and I don't know whether this helps anyone. And Mr. Robert, I called you. Mr. Robert, I actually called you. You are actually another outstanding person. Unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry, I stood up.
No, you can't be trading as an accountant in this kind of session. So, but at any rate, I was sharing at that time, and I just needed an input from you, because just like we listened to the past president of ICANN the last time, things are not cast in stone.
Yes.
You understand? If we have an issue, system,
yes,
operation, template-wise, this is the main thing. What we're trying to do is to rewrite the culture. We're not changing what we're doing. Since we're just trying to rewrite so that digital means can help going forward. And that is what we want to see. So please, if you have any observation that you think we can learn from, that's what we may want to hear. And I'll take Mr. Olashibikon lastly as we wrap up. Mr. Robert, any message in that area,
so far,
please? Yes.
So far, everything has been okay. But I really have one issue which I want to address, which has always been my issue. This quoted investment.
Excellent.
The valuation.
Yes.
Is not always working for me. I don't know, maybe I'm not doing something right.
You see why I have to bring operation and account on back again. This is the main area that and that sincerely we need to tame your proprietary trading in terms of capital gain determinations and all of that, because you need to be home in home. I mean, that's why you cannot even do mark to market. Mark to market. In those days, we used to hear valuation. Valuation in those years was not an accounting process. It wasn't even an accounting information. But guess what? If you value things today, it is tantamount to an accounting information. So, and a lot has to go into it. If it is not accurate, the more trouble. So that is why this mix of operation, and that will be the last lap to give disclosure. So please, in the area of that area, I'll bring that up in the mixed class, and that is why I want the operation and the accounts to interface. Let me take from, okay, Mr. Owolabi. Mr. Owolabi, you can unmute yourself, Mr. Owolabi. Let me mention the house. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, very well. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I just want to ask, is there any,
Mr. Akim Owolabi is of what house, please?
It's based on the balance sheet, monthly balance sheet. Is it possible to use integral for it?
Sorry, Mr. Owolabi is of what house, please?
Phronesis.
Phronesis. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, your monthly balance sheet is just a report away. Your monthly, your P&L and other reports are reports away. And I think before now, you have Mr. Chooks that's been on top of that. Okay, may I know if you are the accountant and how long you've been?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Please, we would like to meet you, and that will help further. Mr. Williams, one more. You have one more thing to say. Please go ahead, Mr. Williams, MBC.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. My question is this now. When we start this lecture, the first person that took us through was mentioning financial closure of the year and the lights. Now, let's assume you've closed your account for the year. I now observe, after reviewing, you've closed, now observe that one or two items missing that need to go for that year.
That's
and
right.
You've closed. What do you do?
Do I take somebody to answer that? Mrs. Adebite, I want to speak with an accountant. I'm not. Mrs. Adebite, please, did you get that question? Mr. Robert,
Hello,
please. Okay, madam, yes, please go ahead. Did you hear that question? How do we handle that, please? We have closed the financial year, but we are just discovering now that one or two items was not handled in the past year. What can we do?
Okay.
What powers do you have to handle?
Okay. If I might to handle that one, I will just post that scenario as at the first day of the new year. Because we have closed the other year, you can't go back to it again. You can just post it as at the first day of the new year, the preceding year.
But the narration must be depicting the issue.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, because these are things within the purview of audit, which you really don't have power over. Is that right?
Over it, yes. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, if that answers.
And even the auditor will ask you to do that. The auditor
will advise you
put
to
them
do
in
that.
notice as well.
Excellent. Please, any more question? Any more? Let's take more. Sorry, sir. I have someone in the house. Mr. Nejo. Mr. Nejo, sir. Is he still on the call? Mr. Nejo? Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, how are you, sir? Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I was very grateful and happy to see you, sir. How are you, sir? Sorry, I hope your session has been fun. We'll get to do this more soon.
Just watching and listening. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. And I'm happy to take that note. That's the MD of Ford Financials. Happy to have you, sir. Thank you. Let's have some more. Let's have some more comment. Let me take Mr. Deshino. Mr. Deshino Oluwafemi, sir. Also MBC. I'm happy to also have you. Mr. Deshino.
Okay, thank you very much,
How do you do? How do you do,
Mr.
sir?
Amos.
Yes, sir.
For the job well done.
Yes.
I think the orientation has at least given us exposition to the integral and the better use of the package.
Thank you.
That's commendable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think on this strength, we want to have a wrap up, but sincerely, I still feel we cannot, because it's usually larger and longer, and we feel we should just go ahead. I want to call more. I have Fred, Mr. Fred. Mr. Fred. Mr. Fred, sir. Mr. Fred Uwom. Dumbbell. Do I have Dumbbell? I need someone from Dumbbell. And why I'm asking Dumbbell is like, you have larger operation, and I want to wonder how your closures and what strategy you may want to share. Okay. Do I have Zion? Do I have Zion? Yes, I can see Zion. Who speaks? Mr. Dawu? Zion. Zion. Mr. Ezekiel, I thought I saw Ezekiel too. Mr. Ezekiel, please, are you on the call? Yes. Where have you been? Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself. Yes. Mr. Ezekiel, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I understand you do Ajala. You left us here and you are doing the villa accounting. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
So you listened to this last part of how the need for early closure and what have you. And if I could remember, Zion, have you closed your financial year yet?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. I know that also. Yes, and in fact, when you say yes, I have. There's so much confidence. Please, what do you do? How is it? How possible? But I know you don't take long too. And if I were to give a prize, if I look at my records, we are coming second, and quite frankly, there are prizes for first, second, third account closures, that's the truth. If you don't get it between now and the end of the year, please request for it. You have a prize. Please, Mr. Ezekiel. So what can you share? How could this be possible in places? You are muted again. Okay, it's muted again. Okay, at any rate, I think we've had well enough, so that I don't take too much of your time. I didn't want to plan for more than 1 hour, but obviously we cannot just have enough of a session like this, which is what I quite like that we always do frequently. And today I will call on Camry to give us a wrap up, a closure. Camry, anyone? Camry. Madam Larai. Okende Balogun. Mr. Kende Balogun. Let me see who else. Oh, yes, I have Joanne Hedge. Joanne Hedge. Joanne, Hedge Securities. Okay. I'll pass it to, let me pass it to Doris Adeoti, Heritage. Doris Adeoti, Heritage. Kindly unmute. Just share a wrap-up closure. Thank you. Do I have Doris Adeoti on the call? And who else? Do I have Celine? Celine Yakubu? I was looking to see if I have what's his name? Okay, Celine Finmal. Okay, I'll go back to Shalom.
So what do you want me to say?
Okay, Celine, please give us a closure.
You know, I'm here standing for a better Zoe. Didn't work outside.
Sorry, can you give us a closure? Wrap up, we're done. We just need your comments. You've been on. I'm sure you are representing, what's his name, Emeka, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were there from the beginning. Please give us a closure.
Wow. Well, is someone not there? Check someone.
Come again?
Is someone not there? Is someone not there? Someone.
Let Zion close for the day.
Zion, please go. I've mentioned and called you all over and over. Please, can you just go ahead?
Mr. Amos, thank you for this wonderful session. It's been very informative and educative. I know you've got a lot of stuff to offer, and we've been enjoying your service for quite a while now. And we believe that with this new improved and advanced quantum integral,
yeah,
going to enjoy this service better. And then we are going to compete with other software that is in the market. And we strongly believe that your support, as usual, will be better for us this year. So we thank you for this session.
Thank you.
It's been a very wonderful
Thank you so very much, Mr. Dowu, the other Zion. And also I'll give it back to all the executives, the MDs of these firms and of the past. In fact, we will actually still do all of this on our mentorship platform. All the session videos and all the sessions from beginning to the end will be there, and we'll direct and send you all the links when we are done. But then, like we said, we're not going to take this as the last. We're still going to have a mixed class, and I'll communicate that in the general mail very soon after today's session. And the reason here is to give more demystification to the issues that could linger between operations and the accounts. And that is why we need to bring this joint session for us to mutually know what happens and what affects what the operations people do that negatively impacts on the on the accounts and vice versa. And that will be the whole essence of Next. And that would also give us an opportunity to showcase some of the customer services, the new OMS, which even in any of these, they all have accounting implication. So this is the send. Please, you will actually hear from us very soon. And at this point, I thank you. And let me also give the great thanks to Mr. Chidi Ajegbo, the former president of ICANN, that opened up this session for us today. And also want to thank the previous invitations to the past people on day one. We had Mr. Raphael Olaoye from NGX that spoke with us on vulnerability. We also have the president of the NGX on the operations. And today we had Chidi Ajegbo, the former president of ICANN. And I'm grateful to have had this, and it's just like a rebut of the future of the capital market, which we are actually pushing ahead. And this is the season for this movement of all the clients, and is a market-wide session. Thank you so very much, everyone, and do have a nice day. Thank you.